Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel.
We're the Dawnties.
My name is Rochelle.
Who am I? I'm your favorite daughter.
Okay. Don't know why it's so hard.
In today's video, we are talking all about Cruella.
Y'all seen it yet? Why not?
So, if you have not heard, my favorite villain of all time has her own movie now. And before you freak out or anything, we're going to do a non-spoiler review, as well as some thoughts that will be spoilery. But we're going to say that to the end. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, feel free to watch at least the opening part. We'll warn you when we get to spoilers. Initial thoughts.
I liked it.
Okay, so it came out, as of recording, it came out a week ago. And we have both seen it multiple times now. And
She's seen it twice as many times as I have.
yes.
And I've seen it like 6.
I work from home. So, you know, I've played it at least once every day during the week. So, after the first watch, we were both like, oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah.
And the thing that stuck out to me was the music. And, of course, it's all hits from the 70s and that era, but it was just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so good. The music is amazing.
Yeah.
A little too on the nose, though. Like, if this wasn't a Disney movie, I think it would be a little too corny. Because, I mean, Disney is all about storytelling through their music in these type of movies and all their animations. And I feel like taking the aspect of Disney out, it would be a little too corny. Like, it's like, okay, we know what's happening, you know, just intense music or upbeat music or whatever music would be needed, not necessarily that song with those lyrics. Like, it's very particular
Gotcha.
with the lyrics matching what's actually happening on your screen. But it was still really fun. I do love the music that they chose.
Okay. Yeah. I liked it. I really like Horace, y'all.
Horace, I think, steals the show.
I really
love
like Horace.
After the first watch, we were already quoting Horace in his lines because he has such great one-liners. A lot of, from what I've read, a lot of improvised moments. He's just so funny. And I bought something off of Shop Disney that'll be here in a few weeks because it is a customizable item. And I put my favorite line from Horace on this item, so we'll reveal that when it comes in.
I'll tell you what my favorite line from Horace is.
What's your favorite Horace line?
My favorite Horace line is, oh, okay, hold on. I'm gonna kiss you right on the mouth, and I don't care where it's been.
It's a great line. So no spoilers, I'm not gonna tell you when or who he says it to. When
I'm gonna use that line on the nieces and nephews.
Oh god.
And maybe the granddaughters. I'm gonna kiss you right on the mouth. I don't care where it's been.
Oh my god. Yeah, so that's a good line. He has a lot of good lines. So going back to the movie as a whole, I think a lot of people were turned off on Cruella getting her own movie because she is a puppy killer, or has been historically. That's her reputation. That's the side of the story we get in the books and in the original animation and in the 1996 remake with Glenn Close. So it follows that story, right? So a lot of people were kind of going against this because of the treatment of animals. But I will say, you don't have to worry about that with this movie because this is it's not a redemption story either. So I don't want you to think that this is going to be like another Maleficent where she's just misunderstood and now we understand and we feel for her.
She's still bad.
She is.
She's still bad.
Yeah. So this is
But she's young yet.
Yeah.
I don't know that yet. I'm still young.
So it's not a redemption story at all. This is just seeing how she grows up, what happens in her life, and how she reacts. Now, I also will say, too, after we saw this the first time, and I'm still thinking back to the first time we watched it, I said it was like The Devil Wears Prada. A lot. And if you like The Devil Wears Prada, you will like this movie. It's very much the same story overall. Like, the generic story is Devil Wears Prada, just
Disney vibe? Sure.
And, but I will say that Andy from Devil Wears Prada takes all of her emotions and goes a different direction than Cruella, and her emotions goes in the opposite direction.
I like Corella's direction better.
Well, that's the bad way, the fun way, I guess. But, so it's not a redemption story. It's not, you know, you're going to root for her. It's just more of a telling of her backstory. Casting. What did you think? We haven't really talked in depth about certain aspects. So what did you think about the casting?
I thought it was really. I thought Emma Stone did a great job as Estella Cruella. I really do, and I think Emma Thompson did a great job as the Baroness.
Yes. So I had initial thoughts whenever it was announced. I could take Emma Stone or leave her. I think I've only seen one movie with her, which was La La Land. It was okay. Wasn't a huge fan of that movie. But I don't think I've ever really seen her in anything else. And in my mind, whenever I think of Emma Stone, I can't picture a face. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then once we got the first trailer, the first look into what this movie was, I was kind of not on board with the aesthetics of what they did to Cruella and what she looks like in this movie, her style. I wasn't a fan of the short curly hair, you know, because she's lanky and has long stringy hair, and like, you just have that classic image. But I will say that was all thrown out the window after we watched it. I am totally on board with her look. I think it's amazing. And I still can't believe that's Emma Stone. Like, I've tried to picture Emma Stone right next to her in the movie, and there's no similarities. And I know that she was on like a diet and exercising regimen before filming to get the more thinner frame, especially in the face, but I don't know Emma Stone well enough as an actor to like pick up on little things. It's like, oh, that's Emma Stone, you know, like, okay. Now the Baroness, I loved her so much, but I actually fell in love with Emma Thompson during Saving Mr. Banks, which is one of my favorite Disney movies, live action Disney movies, and she is incredible in that movie. I've loved her ever since. Of course, she was in Harry Potter, Professor Trelawney. And yeah, she just killed it with this role so perfectly. It's kind of scary how well she did it. But going back to Emma Stone, like I am so unfamiliar with her. I didn't know if she was British or not.
She's not. She's from here.
Yeah, she's from here. But I think she nailed her accent very well. Like I was convinced, but not everybody is convinced that she did well on her accent. But then again, like, think about us. Like, if we see a Texan on TV who's not Texan, like, we can nitpick their accent.
Oh,
no, that's not what we sound like. Or that's not a Texas accent. So, I think she did amazing with the accent. And Horace, we've already talked about Horace. He is a breakout character.
I loved Horace.
Love Horace.
And Wink.
Yes, and Wink. Jasper, he was kind of dull, I think.
Yeah.
He was kind of more of, like, the sound of reason in the story.
Yeah, that's boring. We don't care about sounding reasonable. That's boring.
He's alright. Artie. Love Artie in this movie, who's a new character, who kind of helps bring all these looks to life. He is fun. I wish he got more screen time, and hopefully if they continue this story, he'll be a bigger role.
Yeah, he was funny. He had a lot of good one-liners too.
Yeah, and just as a whole, if you have not seen this movie, definitely go see it. Don't let the fear of the puppy killer and that aspect drag you away from it, because it is mentioned, and which actually sparks some theories on my end that we'll talk about a little bit later in the spoiler section. But there's so many twists and turns.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see coming, and then when it does happen, you're like,
what?
Huh?
What? There are 3 big story reveals. I would say they're story reveals that kind of takes everything in a different direction and goes a little bit further. As far as how aggressive Cruella becomes. So, it's like one thing after another, and it's just so good. I don't think the story was too long. I don't think that it was slow in some parts. I don't think it kept my interest the entire time. And I will say, the only reason why we saw it twice back to back was because I'm stupid.
No, you're not. You just didn't know.
I was not familiar with Premiere Access. This is the first Premiere Access we've ever done. And I thought it was like going to the theater to see it. You see it once, you pay for it, you see it once, and then that's it. Well, then she was like,
I was like, no, you can watch it all the time.
watch
And she
it.
goes, no, I
I was
can't.
like, no, there's no way you would get you would pay $30 for a brand new movie, which is basically what you would pay going to the theater, to be honest, and be able to watch it more than once. So
The first time we watched it, we were in the media room, and it was awesome. Best TV in the house.
yes.
Then we came downstairs, and we're arguing. Well, not arguing.
I was just like, are you sure?
We had a
I
discussion.
don't believe you. How can that be? How can Disney get away with that?
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to prove I'm right.
And we went downstairs to the living room TV, to that Roku, turned it on, and sure enough, it played, and we watched it a second time right then.
Boom.
It grabs you. And because by that time we knew what unfolded, we were able to
Pick little
pick
things
out little
out.
things that
Yeah.
we missed the first time around because we didn't know where the story was going.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. But then I got worried that it was like just a 24-hour thing. So I watched
Again,
it the next
she
night.
don't believe me, y'all.
No, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just like,
I can't fathom, she didn't believe, why Disney would allow you to pay $30 for a movie and see it multiple times when you're going to be paying that same amount to go to a theater and only be able to see it once. That to me makes no, I'm not complaining.
It's the same if you purchased a DVD.
okay, true, but this is brand new. It has just come out. There's
It's
no
because
way.
it's
to
because
get it
of
on
what
DVD.
does Jesse call it? Pandora. It's because of Pandora.
Corventina.
Corventina.
But anyways, I highly recommend watching this movie. I would love to go see it at a theater, but I don't know if I'm going to feel comfortable before it leaves the theater. We'll see how the summer unfolds. But
We'll see.
I would love to see it in theaters because it is fantastic.
I don't know. I mean, I think seeing it in our media room
True.
was good enough.
Okay, good enough, but then that just means you can improve even more.
If
I'm
you
just
want to go
saying.
to the theater, I'm not going to say, no, you're going by yourself. But
Well, I will go by myself. I ain't got no problem with that.
One less person I have to worry about. Wash your hands, don't touch that. She treats me like I'm a little kid. There's a reason.
So again, I definitely would recommend this movie. If you have any questions, if you haven't seen the movie, let us know. We can kind of answer some of your questions if there's some hesitancy or anything like that. But I think it is completely worth it. Most definitely on Disney Plus, so you can rewatch it. Which actually, the next 2 times we watched it was with my mom and my niece, and they watched it and then immediately wanted to watch it again. So
Same,
you're gonna
same.
have that desire to see it again, especially once you see what unfolds.
yeah.
But that is going to be our spoiler-free review. So let us know if you have any questions if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, stick around because now we're going to do a little bit more of a deeper dive in this.
Okay, so yeah, if you haven't seen it and you don't want to know,
Thanks for watching.
bye. Okay, so those of y'all that have seen it, hold on.
Okay. So we're not going to like discuss the movie as a whole. If you've seen it, you know the storylines. My thoughts. I have so many thoughts. I think after watching this movie, there are so many directions they could go with this story.
First off, I want to know, how'd she get cleaned up and dressed up in time for her to get hauled off to jail?
Okay, so I have a
How'd
theory.
that happen?
Ow. I have a theory. Okay, so I think... Okay, so you said that was like the only plot hole.
That's the only major plot hole I see. How?
So I think, just based on other movies and TV shows and stuff that I've seen, whenever the police arrest somebody, especially on scene, it's not like they cuff them and put them in the police car and drive them away immediately.
How you know you've been arrested? I just said from what I've seen. No, I have not, by the way.
But that just, it makes me think about other sources. So, of course, we don't see it in Cruella, but I imagine, using my imagination,
Oh, I guess I ain't got
I
nothing.
imagine that, you know, the Baroness is saying, she jumped, I didn't do it, all, you know, fake-like, because obviously there's a
Yeah, but
million
everybody saw.
witnesses, right. So I have a feeling that they put her in cuffs, sat her down, was getting her account, even though they witnessed it too, because the cops were there. But also taking, like, witness statements. some investigating of, okay, well, we were told there was a robbery, which is why we're here, but then we see you do this, and, you know, making sure that, you know, if there's any other pieces of information they can gather. So I think while we kind of fast forward to how Cruella did what she did, seeing the beginnings of Estella's funeral, I think while we're seeing those scenes, that stuff is happening at Helmet Hall.
Okay.
That's what I think. But it's also movie magic.
It's movie magic, y'all.
Duh. But, okay, so after where the story ends, I feel like even with the end credit scene, or the mid-credit scene, it's not really at the end, it's in the middle of the credits.
Where Pongo and Perdita come in, y'all.
Okay, well, first of all, Pongo and Perdita are siblings.
Ooh.
They come from Genghis.
Genghis not a boy.
Genghis is not a boy.
Nope.
But
Genghis getting fat.
There's a lot of implying in this movie. So, like, it's implied that Genghis is pregnant based on Horace's last line. It's implied that Pongo and Perdita are from that litter.
Yeah, that's implied. We don't know that for sure.
But I think that inbreeding in full bred is like a thing. Is that?
I think it is in dogs.
We are dog lovers. We are by no means dog experts, especially in full bred dogs.
We got one.
We do.
But yeah, it was an accident.
But is that a thing? And if that's a thing, then okay, maybe Pongo and Perdita being siblings and from the same litter isn't
that
too
big a deal?
out there.
I don't know.
But for me, I was like,
I don't know. I think it's different with animals than it is with people.
Maybe. So, based on where we end up and where we see Cruella in her movie, where we see Pongo and Perdita being given to Anita and Roger, I think there's a story between where this movie ends and 101 Dalmatians begins. And I think because the Baroness is alive, she's in jail, I think a couple of different things could happen. That Cruella takes over Helmet Hall, renames it.
It's Hell Hall now.
Has her goons, right? She has ideas of what she wants to do. I have a feeling that the Baroness, because she's alive, somehow frames Cruella into everyone thinking that's her goal is to skin dogs for their coats. Because first of all, she likes dogs. She found Buddy as a kid, had him for 10 years, where the story actually really starts. Of course, there's Wink. She takes over the Dalmatians. I think that she is an animal lover, or at least tolerates them. Okay.
Yeah, she allows it.
She allows it. I'll allow it.
So I think there might be something with the Baroness trying to get back at Cruella and ruin her, and possibly frame her into the cruelest thing that you could think of.
And that may be because the Baroness may be able to get out of jail by proving that Estella and Cruella are the same person.
Yeah.
Because Cruella was basically, she just wanted her to see the Baroness go to jail for throwing somebody off the cliff. Yeah. And she did say the wrong person, but
she got in trouble nonetheless.
So
that could happen.
It could come out that, hey, you two, you're the same. Yeah. So she can't be in jail for killing you because you ain't dead.
You're not dead. Yeah. So that could be like a possible movie.
It could be.
In between the two stories that we have now. But also, it could also be a story of her downfall and something else. I'm still wanting to say something with the Baroness happens in the next
You just
phase.
Want the Baroness in the next movie.
Well, no, because my third theory has nothing to do with the Baroness.
Oh, okay.
But I think that another type of story that could happen is something that pushes Cruella to go completely mad. Because in this movie, she says, I went a little bit mad and I'm sorry.
Well, it could be more like this book.
Oh!
Because this origin story of Cruella and this origin story of Cruella, totally different.
Mainly different.
But
there's some similarities.
Yeah, but you could take some stuff out of this book. Like maybe she can get married.
Yeah, so in this book, fast forwarding through basically her backstory to 101 Dalmatians, she wants to win her narcissistic mother's approval.
The Baroness.
By the Baroness. The storyline in this book where 101 Dalmatians take place is that she wants to make her the finest coat to get her approval so she will love her, which is her goal, which is why she tries to kidnap 101 Dalmatians to make the coat. But I think in this story, in Cruella, the movie, I think because she acknowledges that she's born a little bit mad, she admits to Horace and Jasper, she went mad and I'm sorry. She knows that she can go a little bit crazy, and I think that the next story could push her over that edge to where she truly does go crazy. Yeah. And then, we pick up where 101 Dalmatians, that story begins.
Yeah, and also with the Baroness being a psycho and being her biological mom, she's prepositioned to be a psycho.
Nature versus nurture. Very real in this story. But then my third idea for another continuation of the story is 101 Dalmatians remake, but from Cruella's point of view.
Which is what this...
Not really.
No?
No, this book, the majority of this book is her backstory.
That's true.
It like towards the end, it
does get a little bit.
It touches on 101 Dalmatians, and she says, "Oh, well, we all know how that turned out."
Right.
So it doesn't really tell the story from her perspective.
But yeah, that's more of a different kind of backstory.
Different kind of backstory. But I think I would love to see more of the reasoning. Why does she want to skin them? Or why does she want people to think she wants to skin dogs? Because it could also be that misunderstood thing.
Well, she did say they really would make a pretty coat.
She did say that, but then she also didn't do it. She let them think that's what she did. Because everyone wants a villain to believe in, and she's happy to fit the bill. So, I think they could go in so many different directions with this storyline, and I am here for all of it. Because I love Cruella.
And they have, a week after this one came out, they have said they've gotten the green light from Disney to do a Cruella 2.
Now, it could be, 5 years from now.
Yeah, it might take a while.
Yeah, especially if they haven't thought about where they want the story to go.
Yeah.
But this is a completely reimagined, as we saw. It's not the Cruella that we know from the animation and from the original books. So, it's going to be interesting to see. But I have seen it
12 times.
No, 13. Today was 13.
13.
Today was number 13. But it's like picking up those little subtleties. There's so many subtle clues that happen that just, they're genius. They really are. If you pick up on them, I think they're genius.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, those are my thoughts. Let us know down below what you think about this movie, and if you have any theories on where they could go, or if this was just like a one and done, if you're fine with how this ended. And I just want to see what happens between this and how she turns crazy, possibly crazy, for 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
So, but they did set it up perfectly for an additional remake of 101 Dalmatians. So we'll see what happens. But I still think there's story to be told before that story picks up in time. So,
yep. We'll see.
But it was a good movie. It's so good. I love it. I'm so glad I can see it anytime I want. And I just keep telling myself I am getting my money's worth.
I was right, by the way.
You were right about what?
That you can watch it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Because I am taking advantage. And it's my right. I paid for it. So.
Well, all right then.
Alright, that's gonna do it. Alright, so that's gonna do it. Alright, so that's gonna... Wow,
Alright guys, that's it for today. We will see you in our next video. Bye.